Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Semester 2 Review D. Remember to show all your work and to circle your answers. So, number 1 says to describe the end behavior of the graph. Okay, we have f of x equals negative 4x to the 5th plus 7x cubed plus 3x squared plus 11. So, the main thing that we need to look at first is we need to know that it is a odd number, okay? So when it is odd, our end behaviors either are going up and down, or they're going down and up. And we have to determine which one it is. So the way we do that, that is if it is positive, the right side rises and the left side falls. If it's negative, the left side rises and the right side falls. Now, I know that's kind of hard to remember. That we talked about that in Unit 6. I think it was 6.5. So if you don't remember that, the two things you could always do is one, plug it into your calculator and hopefully you could see it, or two, just write that on your note card. Okay, because remember, you do get a note card for the final exam. So uh, it is not falling on the left, so I can get rid of the first one. It is rising on the left, but it is not, or I'm sorry, it's rising on the right, but it is not, sorry, rising on the left. Um, it's not falling on the left and rising on the right. It's rising on the left and falling on the right. Okay? Now, for number 3, I know it's kind of confusing, but this is the graph that we're looking at for number 3. Okay? So, increasing. Where is our graph increasing? Well, from negative infinity to negative 2.5, and then from 0.4 to positive infinity. Okay? So from negative infinity to negative 2.15, remember that we're using the domain for this. Those are the x values. Now it's decreasing from here to here. And that would be from negative 2.15 to 0.14. Okay, now where is it greater than 0? Okay, so it's greater than 0. Remember that we need to look at the x-axis and see where is it. Oh, sorry, wrong color. Where is it above? Well, it's above from negative 3 to negative 1, but then it's also above over here. So I have to take a break, and that's from 1 to positive infinity. Okay, where is it below? Well, it's below from negative infinity to negative 3, and then it's above for a little bit. And then once again, it goes below from negative 1 to positive 1. And then it's above again. Okay? All right, 5. Select all the graphs that have the following characteristics. Okay, first one, even degree. That means they're both going up or they're both going down. Okay, the end behaviors are the same. There are 4 real zeros, which means there's going to be 4 solutions 4 zeros, and a negative leading coefficient, which means it's going down, okay? So just looking at those, I see that I can cancel out C because it's going up. Okay, so the next part is I need to make sure that all the ends are going down, so it's down, 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 and down, down. And I need to have 4 real zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We can circle A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we can circle B. And then the last one, 1, 2. Oh, because this one's only got 2. We need 4 and 4. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over. Number 7. Factor completely. Remember, the first thing that we always check for, is there a GCF? Is there something that I can take out of everything from the very beginning? And there's not. So I need to look at the two different sides. There's the yellow side or the blue side, the first side or the second side. And then we start factoring. So between 6 and 15, I can take out a 3, and then they both have x squareds. So I take the 3x squared out front, and then the remainder goes underneath. So that's 2x minus 5. Now, 8 and negative 20, I can factor out a 4, and that was a positive 4. And I'm left with 2x minus 5. Okay, I'm happy because both of those match. So that's one of my binomials. And then the other one is the 3x squared plus 4. Now remember, the order does not matter with multiplication. So you could have written 3x squared plus 4 times 2x minus 5. That would have been completely fine. Okay, divide the polynomials. So I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to divide it by the blue, and we're going to use synthetic division. Ooh, excuse me. So in synthetic division, the first thing that I do is I take the opposite. So that's a positive 2. I'm going to use a negative 2. Okay, and I worry about the coefficients. So there's a 2, a 1, a negative 2, a 7, and a negative 2. Okay, so we drop down the 2, and then we do negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4, and then we subtract. 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and then we do it again. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And then 7 minus 8 is negative 1. And then the last one, we'll do orange. Negative 2 times negative 1, excuse me, is a positive 2. And then we're left with 0. Okay, so if I were to divide that, we would have 2, and that's going to be x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. Okay, when you're writing your final answer, if you're not sure where to start, like, oh, is it x squared or it's x cubed? It's always going to be one less than what you started with. Okay, or you can start with negative 1. Then you know it's 4x minus 3x squared, 2x cubed. So you're kind of working backwards. Okay, so the next one, if negative 3 is a real 0, we have to find the other real zeros of the function. So this time, the -3 stays the same. That's what we're going to use. And then once again, I need all the coefficients. So a 1, a 1, a -14, and a -24. The 1 drops right away. And then we do the same thing. So I've got -3 times 1, which is -3. 1 minus 3 is -2. And then we have -3 times -2, which is +6. And that's -14 plus 6, which is a -8. And then we have -3 times -8, which is a +24. And then we get 0. Now, I'm not done because we have x squared minus 2x minus 8, but I want to find the other zeros, which means I'm going to set that equal to 0 and solve. I want numbers that multiply to get to -8 and add to get to -2, which are 2 and 4, and the 4 is negative. So I have x plus 2, x minus 4 equaling 0. And then I want the solutions, the other zeros, so I would set, x plus 2 equal to 0, x minus 4 equal to 0 to get my answers of -2 and +4. And the last thing I want to do is I want all of the zeros, so all of my zeros are -3, -2, and 4. How'd I get the -3? Because they told me -3 was a 0 in the very beginning. Okay, so I can't forget that. All right, last one. Write a polynomial that has the zeros of 3, 4, and -4. So if those are my zeros, if I was solving those, okay, 1, 2, and 3, those are my zeros, so that would mean it'd be x minus 3 because they're opposite, and it's opposite. Okay, so you pick 2. It doesn't matter which 2 you want to factor. Okay, I'm just going to keep the x minus 3 out front. And then I'm going to factor these other guys. So x times x is x squared. X times 4 is a positive 4x. -4 times x is -4. And -4 times -4 is -16. I combine my like terms. And we get x squared minus 16. Yeah, because they cancel. Okay? Now that's not always going to be the case, but it happened this time. And now I get to do it again. Okay? X times x is x cubed. X times -16 is -16x. -3 times x squared is a -3x squared. And then -3 times -16 is +48. Now, I don't have any like terms, but I do need to write these in order. Sorry. So the x cubed comes out front, then the -3x squared, and then -16x plus 48 because we want our final answer in standard form. Okay, and that's it. Right? Yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions for Ms. Carranza or myself, we would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2 Semester 2 Review D. Thanks for watching.